Hi, folks. My name is Paul Swider. Thanks for joining me in this AI Minute. Today, I'd like to take a couple of minutes to talk about GPT-3. So GPT is a neural network that's used for NLP, for natural language processing. It's gained a lot of popularity in the past few months because there's been some great examples showcasing how essentially now using GPT-3, we can use the network and computers to produce human text, right, or speech. And so we've seen some examples of this. One great example, there's a Reddit community where there's actually two bots that are talking back and forth, and they're both using GPT-3 to create the text. And it's very lifelike. If you were to watch this conversation, it would be very difficult to distinguish the conversation that the two bots are having versus a conversation that two humans may be having. And so part of the reason for the success is with GPT-3, they expanded the number of layers to 96 and the number of parameters that can be used in the network to over 90 billion. And so essentially what that means is they can stuff the neural network with all the possibilities required to produce natural human text. But now I want to play devil's advocate here for a moment, because there are many extremely smart people in the AI community that would suggest that at this point, GPT-3 is really doing nothing more than building a taller ladder. And so what I mean by that is the difference between GPT-2 and GPT-3 is simply more parameters, right? There's no new neural network technology. There's no new NLP algorithms, if you will, right? It's just simply we're building a taller ladder. We're adding more parameters, and so it's an interesting perspective. The other thing to keep in mind is that it falls apart after about a paragraph of text. So it's really good for communicating back and forth in short sentences, and you can make it look like humans are having a conversation. But if you were to actually try to direct that algorithm to do, say, 3 paragraphs of human text, it would fall apart after the first paragraph. It would start to sound jumbled, and it wouldn't be comprehensible. By the time you got to paragraph 2 and 3. Now that said, so now that I beat up on GPT-3 a little bit, now let's talk about some of the really cool things about it, though. So now just because it's limited and it's, again, some folks would say we're just building a taller ladder. But let's be clear, the ability to create even a few sentences of human text, or to read that human text and fully comprehend what it means, or to output a response to human text is extremely powerful and can be used to create some exciting solutions, right? The biggest one, and perhaps the reason why Microsoft is invested so heavily in OpenAI. OpenAI is a San Francisco company that owns GPT. I hate to use own because I think it's open source, but they own and control GPT-3. Microsoft's invested heavily in this company. And one of the use cases they found so far that works really well is in autocode, right? So you've probably seen Autopilot, this feature that Microsoft has been talking about, where essentially what you can do is you can start to type in some code, and what it will do is it will complete the code for you that you're typing. Now, the way it does this is it actually looks at the first bit of code that you start typing, and it looks at the comments in your code and some other stuff, and then it runs through the neural network, and it spits out what it thinks should be the next word, and then that equals the next, eventually you have a function, right? So again, this will work with GPT-3 because you're not producing more than a couple of paragraphs of text, right? You're just simply looking at a quick little code snippet, and then you're doing all your predictions using the GPT-3 network based on that code snippet, and you're filling in the rest of the code for the user. So it's a really amazing use case, and it'll be incredible to see what people build on this. But at the same time, we should be real and understand that there are limitations with GPT-3, that we're not there yet. We're not building, machines that are capable of prolonged human speech. We are still building taller ladders. We're not a step forward, towards a step further towards general artificial intelligence. But that said, it's still very powerful, what can be accomplished with GPT-3. So with that said, Google some of this stuff. Check it out.
Join thousands of CXOs June 28th to 30th in San Francisco, California at Cloud Wars Expo to explore this digital future and discover ideas, insights, and relationships that can make it real. We will consider what is possible, challenge tradition, and surround ourselves with a new kind of analyst. an analyst for the acceleration economy that focuses less on quadrants and waves and more on what really matters. Register today at cloudwarsexpo.com.